Welcome to the Love Deep Lab podcast, helping you integrate sex, sexiness, sacredness, and science in your life and your bedroom. And now, your host, Dr. Stormy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stormy. Welcome to the Love Deep Lab podcast. I'm so happy you're here today. So last week we talked about the 5 love languages from Gary Chapman as powerful, simple, and practical communication tools to help you understand how you feel loved, seen, appreciated, adored, and how your partner might have a different love language. So if you missed that episode, definitely check it out. But this week, we're going to take it in a little different direction and talk about what I like to think about as the love languages for the bedroom, the love languages for your sexual expression and your turn on. So we're going to talk about the 5 erotic blueprints today. And I can't wait to share with you this awesome tool because as you begin to understand your erotic blueprint, what makes you turned on, what taps you deeply into your erotic energy, into desire, into pleasure, into lust, then we have a greater capacity for pleasure. And as you know, I'm totally a pleasure pusher. Any techniques I can use with myself and my clients to bring more pleasure, more joy, more orgasm, more bliss into your life, I'm all about. And the 5 erotic blueprints are an amazing tool that I have used with myself in my partnerships and also with my clients. So the erotic blueprints are like the 5 love languages for sexual expression. Okay. And they were created by Jaya, who's a somatic sexologist with over 2 decades of work as a somatic sexologist. And she was studying lots of different people and couples and noticed that they didn't have a way of communicating or even understanding or knowing their own desire map, their own map of turn on, let alone communicating that with a partner, let alone understanding a partner's desire map or erotic blueprint. So she created these erotic blueprints, and I think, again, they're just a fabulous tool. How you can find out what yours is, we're going to go through the 5 today, and you might be able to sort of see yourself or maybe your partner as I go through them. But I recommend taking the quiz. You can just Google erotic blueprints or erotic blueprints Jaya. That's Jaiya, and there's lots of places to take a free quiz online. She also on her website, just Googling Jaya, has lots of information and classes and things like that as well. So another reason that she created these, and she's seen incredible progress with them, and so have I and my couples. It's why I use this as one of the tools always when I work with couples, is that, you'll hear that we're not compatible anymore, right? The spark has faded, the passion has faded, we're sexually incompatible. This can happen in long-term partnerships. This can happen in new relationships. And this is often one of the things I hear when I work with my single people that keeps them from dating. They're like, I'm just sexually incompatible with person after person after person, and I'd rather be single. So if you can connect to that, first of all, it's tender, and I feel you there. I have been there in prior relationships and in my past. But this is an amazing tool to help to heal that, helping to reignite that passion, and not only reignite it to like make it bigger and brighter and sparkier than it was maybe even in the beginning. And again, in long-term partnerships or in new partnerships, if you're feeling like the sex is kind of blah or meh, or just okay, or doldrums, or you aren't getting what you want and you're not sure how to speak it with your partner, you're understanding your erotic blueprint and having your partner take the quiz as well is a great tool, a great place to start. And often we speak to our partner, even if we don't know our erotic love language, our erotic blueprint, in the way we think we want to be turned on, or the way we have been turned on in the past. And we might not even understand that or really have a deep expression of that or deep exploration of our own desire. Most of us don't until we do this work. But we often will misinterpret. We will assume our partner will experience turn on that same way. And often they don't, right? Turn on is exciting and magical and mystical and all physiological and neurological and so many things. And so understanding your own turn on is an incredible place to start. And this tools, the erotic blueprints, also helps you to understand your partner's turn on. And it just helps you move through life more turned on by life itself. More pleasure in life, more pleasure in love, more pleasure in sex. So one of the benefits of it is that. Another one is you start to understand your desire, deeply understand your desire. What turns you on? what taps you into the erotic, what makes you feel like the juicy, amazing, powerful, sexy being that you are, and your partner, what turns them on. And then you have a language to start to communicate it. You also have practices to broaden and expand it. We'll talk towards the end about ways to feed and heal and expand your blueprint. And then, like I said, just a greater capacity for pleasure and a greater capacity for orgasms and different types of orgasms. So I love this tool as one of the tools in your sexy toolkit, and I'm really happy to share with you about it today. So the 5 blueprints are energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, and shapeshifter. Okay, energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, and shapeshifter. And again, you might be like, oh, I bet I'm this, or I think I'm this. And that's great. You might be able to really connect into that. But I do recommend taking the quiz and getting a deeper understanding of it, and also having your partner take the quiz. So let's go into it. And also, we're going to talk today about the kind of some of the light attributes, some of the qualities and characteristics of each of the 5, and then also some of the shadow attributes. And what I mean by that is, like everything in life, is very dualistic, and we have light and we have shadow, right? And light gives us shadow and shadow gives us light. And we often need that polarity to really experience it. And the light attributes are the things we think of as like the good, quote unquote, aspects of these erotic blueprints. The shadow are the ones that can be misinterpreted, or we can feel guilt or shame about, or have been judged by others about, or ourselves about. But the exciting news is, as you begin to do this work, you can heal the shadow aspects of the blueprints as well. So if your erotic blueprint is energetic, it is all about the energy for you. Energy play. It's all about the tease and the anticipation and the space and the longing and the yearning, and really that kind of energy play. And so, like, even before a kiss, you might just feel, wow, like so turned on and overwhelmed as your lips get close to a partner that you're about to kiss. So for you as an energetic, those are some of the characteristics. And then the shadow aspect can be, someone may have told you or assumed, or you may have felt like you were frigid, quote, in quotes, because it's really easy for you to shut down because you're so attuned to the energy, let alone the physicality or sensuality or sexuality. It can be overwhelming. And when we get overwhelmed, we can shut down out of safety or self-preservation or pattern. And so you can shut down, you can feel overwhelmed from too much at once, or not what you're needing, which is the energy. If your erotic blueprint is sensual, it's all about the senses for you. The 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. It's all about beauty and artistry and really the creating the whole scene and environment. So those are the things that really turn a sensual blueprint on. And some of the shadow aspects is you can really get caught in your head, like the pillow's out of place, or you don't feel like everything's perfect, or maybe you're worried about your breath or your body. Like it can really be, you can feel like you need it to be perfect, or your partner can interpret it as you need it to be perfect to be turned on. If your erotic blueprint is sexual, it is sex and sexuality that turns you on. So it is kind of sort of thought of as the standard in our culture, and often men can feel like it's the way that they have to be and are supposed to be. And I can tell you that's not true. Men have all the blueprints just as women do, all genders, it doesn't matter. But we can kind of have this assumption that sexual is the way that the man needs to be, and it's just not true. So that's another way to kind of broaden this for you. But your sex and sexuality and penetration, climax, orgasm, those are things that really turn you on. There's a simplicity to this blueprint as well. And then, which leads to the shadow side of it, which it can be a little genital focused. It can be a little orgasm focused. It can be a little limited or simplistic because of the focus on sex and sexuality. If your erotic blueprint is kinky, then it is all things taboo that turn you on. And it doesn't have to be like 50 Shades of Grey, very super kinky, although it might be. It's anything that has like a hint of naughty all the way through the kink spectrum. It can be psychological kink. It can be physical kink. So it's just really about the taboo and a little bit of naughty that really turns you on. And again, the shadow side of that can be that you have a lot of shame, or have been shamed or judged, or you feel shame or judgment for yourself around this taboo part and around the fact that the taboo turns you on. And if your erotic blueprint is shapeshifter, you want and like it all. All the other 4 blueprints, you want and like all of that. It's the most erotically sophisticated of the love languages. It's not better or worse. It just means that you have a broader range of turn on, and all the other 4 types turn you on. The shadow side is you can feel like or been told that you're way too much. You want it way too often in too many different ways, and the person is overwhelmed, and that you aren't, and then for you don't feel fed enough sexually by your partner. And again, the really exciting part of this, besides just understanding your turn on, is that first you learn to feed, and this is what Jaya says. First you learn to feed, then you learn to speak, then you learn to heal, and then you learn to expand your blueprint. So first you need to learn to feed it because you start to understand it. You know how to feed it yourself, and you know how to have a partner feed it, and you have greater turn on that way. And that's the speak part, right? Like you learn to communicate it with your partner. Your partner learns to communicate their needs and wants and desires in the erotic realm with you. And you get to start to broaden that erotic language between the two of you. The healing part is about the shadow part. You get to start to learn to integrate and in love and embrace and have compassion for these parts of you that maybe have been shunned or disowned or shamed by yourself or others or both in the past. And then you get to expand. You get to start to broaden your own erotic blueprint. And because let's say you are a sensual and you start to understand and practice your sensual and that your turn on in the realm of sensual, but your partner is asexual. Well, you will start to learn and communicate and expand and explore ways that both of you are fed in each of your erotic language. So your sexy homework for the week is to take the quiz. Take the quiz, and if you're in a partnership, I really encourage you, if that feels comfortable and safe for you, to have your partner take the quiz at all and start having a dialogue about it. But even if you're not in partnership or you don't feel comfortable asking your partner to take it, take the quiz for yourself. Start to know and understand what turns you on, what is your erotic language, and what is your erotic blueprint. I just want to let you guys know, so excited. Next week will be episode 40. And so we've had 40 weeks of the Love Deep Lab podcast. And I am beyond honored and delighted to have all of you subscribed and watching and listening and sharing. It actually makes me feel a little emotional. It means the world to me. We started this podcast 40 weeks ago. It is a way to share with you our desire for all things sex, science, and sacredness, and for people to have more love, passion, and sexuality in their life, to feel safe and powerful in their sexuality. And it's just been this really beautiful love project. So I'm so grateful to all of you for following along. Next week for episode 40, it will be our last episode before we take a little break through the holidays. So it'll be our last episode of season 1. In the new year, we will start season 2 of the Love Deep Lab podcast. And next week, we're going to do a fun little Q&A just to kind of close out the season. So make sure you tune in for that. And thank you for listening and watching today. And thank you for being brave and opening your hearts to love deep.